the environment advantage, why your environment a lot of times dictates the success of your dating, your social status, and the efficiency of your lifestyle. Welcome to another episode of Image is Power. Today, gentlemen, I want to break down why your environment a lot of times is the secret component as to why maybe you might be struggling in dating, with just elevating your lifestyle, and maybe sometimes even getting in shape. Environment really dictates a lot of these things. And I think a lot of guys beat themselves up because they think that they just suck at dating. They think that they don't have the necessary social skills, they don't have the necessary tools to be successful, to cultivate a lifestyle that they're proud of. Maybe hitting those PRs in the gym, getting a better set of friends. A lot of times, it really just comes down to your environment. I learned this a lot when I started to travel abroad. Before, I was in an environment that really didn't allow me to grow, and it wasn't allowing me to really optimize the life that I wanted. So around that time, I was like in my late 20s. I started to really question if I should stay back home, if I should stay back in Texas, if I should start moving, checking out different cities. And one of the best things that I did was start to travel abroad, start going to different cities and living in these different cities. And I lived in a lot of cities in Latin America, lived all over Mexico for a while. I've been to Monterrey, Mexico City, Guadalajara, let's see, Guanajuato, Querétaro, been to Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Puerto Morelos, Tulum, a lot of different cities throughout Mexico. Then I checked out Colombia. I was in Medellin, Cartagena, Bogota. Been in Peru, Lima, Cusco, also in Guatemala, Ecuador. Been in Japan as well. So I've had a good variety of cities to pull a lot of data from. And what I've realized is that when I was back home, it just was not the best environment for me. There was a lot of things that were holding me back. And let's go ahead and do the jump into the screen share. Jump over here. So the main things when it comes to environment, guys, is that your environment really does determine your dating, lifestyle, and success. You can't outwork a bad environment. I love that quote. You just can't, because when you're in a bad environment where there's not a lot of girls, there's not a lot of cute girls, there's not a lot of things close to you like restaurants, bars, nightlife, there's not a lot of good gyms around you. It really hinders your progress, your self-development growth, because you're limited to that pool, right? An easy way to think about it is like a pond compared to a lake compared to an ocean. When you're in the small town, you are limited to that pond. When you move to a bigger city, a bigger town, now you move into a lake, and then when you're in a big city, maybe a city that has more to offer, now you change your environment to a ocean. And what we want is to just jump into lakes and oceans. We want to stay away from ponds. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and around Houston, Texas, there's a lot of towns. We have like Alvin. A lot of my cousins lived in Alvin, Texas, and Pearland. And the thing about these little towns is that just to get to the city, just to get to Houston, it takes like an hour commute to get to where the action's at. So a lot of times these towns are they're just horrible for dating. And I would find that my cousins thought that they just sucked at dating because when they would go out, they just, they would strike out. They didn't really get the best results, and a lot of times because they were just in a crappy town that they didn't really have a attractive dating pool. So the main things that you want to look for when it comes to a high value environment are the following: you want an attractive dating pool, you want pretty good gyms around you, gym access. You want to be in a walkable and central part of town or the city. You want nightlife and bars, restaurants, and fun activities, a strong network, a location where you can cultivate a strong network, and quality housing. So to break these down, attractive dating pool, pretty obvious. Just a lot of cute girls that are close to you. That's all that means. Gym access means that you have a lot of gyms that are close as well. So maybe you have some MMA gyms, some boxing gyms, some lifting gyms. That's very important so you can meet other like-minded people, people that are serious about their fitness. Walkable and central, you're just close to where the action's at. You're close to the gyms, you're close to the cute girls, you're close to the nightlife and the bars, and you're also close to any cool restaurants and activities. And then the strong network, this is helpful when it comes to making more money because you're going to be around other like-minded guys that are also hustlers, they're also high performers. They want to elevate their lifestyle. They're constantly on that grind. And you also meet a lot of women that are also with that same wavelength. So the main thing is people that are on the same wavelength as you are. And then finally, quality housing. So you want to get quality apartments. If you want to get an Airbnb, make sure that you have an apartment that's nice. It's nice quality. You have a nice TV, nice furniture, nice big bed. A lot of guys they undermine this part of quality housing because they get like a crappy apartment or they're still living with their parents. They're still have like 3, 4 roommates, and their house looks like shit. Their environment, their actual like place, their pad looks like crap. And when they bring a girl back to their bachelor pad, it's just not the best place to close. So this is also a big component that a lot of guys overlook. So your environment should push you to level up every single day. And we can compare these, the difference between a weak environment and a high value environment. A weak environment is a low quality dating pool, meaning there's a low number of attractive, ambitious, or available women. There's limited social opportunities, no events, no life, no organic places to meet new people. This is really limiting your social opportunities because one thing you'll come to realize is that having dating success, talking to a lot of cute women, having a solid dating life, a lot of it is just social skills. If you have solid social skills, you'll meet a lot of cute women. It makes it very easy. But the guys that struggle are the guys that don't understand social cues. They don't understand the nuances of just being social with people, right? That's a very powerful skill to have, especially nowadays in 2026, because a lot of people lack this. A lot of people stay behind their screens and they don't develop that skill. So I started noticing this after COVID that a lot of people just started getting less social, and as a byproduct of that, it hinders your dating opportunities. So if you level up your social skills, a lot of times you'll notice that your dating life is also going to improve because you get to meet a lot of people in the process. It makes it easy to establish better social opportunities. The next thing is no gym fitness access. So hard. This makes it hard to stay consistent with the gym because it's farther, it's crowded, or the gym is low quality. So investing into a good quality gym is always a an investment. It's a fruitful investment because you are in a good location. Make sure that you're getting those gains. You're in a high quality gym. So you don't want to go for low quality guys when it comes to gyms, when it comes to even like when it comes to boxing, MMA gyms. You want to make sure that you are in the best gym that you can find close to you, has some cute girls, but also it's just making you sharper. Also, you're not in a walkable area. It's a boring area. Everything is far. You stay home more, less spontaneous social interactions. This is what I mentioned when I lived back in Houston. This was the case because I used to live outside of Houston. If you are familiar with Houston, shout out to H Town. I grew up and lived in H Town for a long time. And when I used to live in Houston, I would live on the outskirts of the city, of the inner part of the city. So I lived outside of the Beltway. You know Houston, you're familiar with the highways. And whenever I wanted to go out, I had a date, if I wanted to take a girl out, I would have to drive like 30 to 45 minutes, just depending on traffic, just to get to my date. So it was not the best city for dating. Then I started moving closer to the city. And when I was in the city, it did make it easier as far as like logistics of transportation. Could go to the date, made it very efficient. But the problem was like if I wanted to get an Uber, just to get an Uber to the location was gonna be like $30, and then another $30 to get back home. So things were just a lot more expensive. And then keep in mind the rent was a lot more expensive to live in the inner part of the city. So I was paying a lot more there, and everything just started. It was like the trade off, right? Of the distance, the less convenience of being outside of the Beltway as opposed to being inside of the city. I was just paying a lot more. So that was the trade off, and I just didn't really like that. I felt like I was just spending more money for like the same type of interactions that I started getting when I started traveling abroad. So also, poor lifestyle infrastructure. So there's no good restaurants, coffee shops, or activities or things to do close to you. You have a bad apartment setup. Going back to your actual pad, it's uncomfortable, messy, or not designed to bring a date back. Low energy culture surrounded by negative, lazy, or unmotivated people. This is gonna just reduce your quality of lifestyle. And then the results of this is low confidence, low self-image, and this is a distorted view because you think that it's about you. You think that you just don't have the necessary skills, necessary social skills. You're not meeting the necessary people, and it's just because of your environment that's giving you these results. You have fewer dates and fewer options, less motivation and discipline, isolation, and a smaller mindset, a stagnant lifestyle, and income. And jumping on the other side of the coin, when you have a high value environment, it usually cultivates high value results. So it gives you a high quality dating pool, more attractive, ambitious, and open minded women. Social opportunities are always everywhere in events, nightlife, day game spots, social circle, meetups. You're always meeting new ambitious people. I can really attest to this when it comes to MMA gyms. You meet a lot of like high quality people in MMA gyms and run clubs. Gym and fitness access, great gyms close by, easy to stay consistent and build your body. Like I have two gyms that are literally 5 minutes walking distance from me. So it makes it easy. I also have a gym here in my apartment. So that's always very convenient in case you can't get a workout in. You can go straight to your apartment, just get something quick. There's no excuse to not go into the actual gym. Walkable and central locations, so cafes, bars, shops, activities, all within walking distance. That's very important, guys, because when it comes to dates, right? If you set up a date, if there's a cafe that's literally next to your spot, you can always take your dates to that cafe. Keep it like a low barrier to entry, and then if it pans out, you can take her to a bar that's close, or you can do something else. You can keep the date going, but if it's not panning out, you can always cut it short, and that's very important because you don't want to waste your time with a date that's it's not going where you wanted to go. You're not getting that good chemistry from the date. So that's why it's important, right? Having just things that are walkable, central distance, because you can always pivot on your plan because all the activities are all within walking distance. Lifestyle infrastructure, the restaurants, fun activities, things to do, experiences. This is very similar to the bars and the cafes. This just makes it fun. You have good restaurants close to you. You have cool things to do, like tourist locations. There's a beach. There's a lake. There's just cool things that you can do around you. That always just kind of just sets up the lifestyle. It makes life just funner. Apartment set up on point, clean, modern, masculine space designed for comfort and connection. So you can see behind me, I got like a couch. My place is pretty simple, but I love it because I have everything that I need. Have a nice kitchen, nice furniture, nice couch, nice TV. If I bring a girl back, I can whip her up a drink. I can put some music on. Got a nice big bed. So everything's just set up on point. It's ready to go. High energy culture surrounded by ambitious, driven, and inspiring people. So in your city, if you're back in the States, you need to start developing that high energy culture. Whether you're doing like networking events, whether you're going to run clubs, you're in an MMA gym, um, what else is there? Taking salsa classes, dance classes, whatever, two-step classes, line dancing, anything, bachata classes. Just try to get into a culture where there's just other like-minded people. Also with business, like go to meetups. If you work in tech, go to tech meetups, go to entrepreneur meetups. You want to just start developing this culture here. And when you start traveling, there's a lot of cool groups when you travel as well, like digital nomads and tech networking events as well. So you want to just get yourself in those spaces because you're gonna meet more people. You're gonna grow your network as well. And the results of this is the high confidence and a higher confidence and strong self-image, more dates and more options, high motivation and discipline, strong network and support, better lifestyle, and just overall more income. And the environment success cycle. So breaking down the success cycle, you'll see that everything starts to overlap because more action, you go out more, approach more, you take more risks, leading to more experiences, more dates, more social interactions, more wins. A lot of this always just comes down to volume. The more volume that you put out, the better results you're gonna get. Try to go for quality instead of quantity. That's something that I've learned from just going on a lot of dates. Is that you want to go for quality dates. You want to go for quality girls. You want to go for just more quality interactions. But that's just going to lead to more experiences and then just a better identity. It's going to increase your identity, your self image, because your confidence, your skill, and your frame increases. So that is going to lead to better results. You're going to get more dates, so just a better body, a better lifestyle, more money. You're going to keep putting yourself out there. And more motivation. You feel alive, driven, and excited about life because of your lifestyle is just becoming optimized. You're going to a run club, you meet a girl there that's gonna keep you motivated. Just keep going to run clubs, keep hitting the gym. And then you might go out for a date later on. Date goes well. You already have the logistics set up. You might take it to a coffee shop on the first date. Goes well. You take it to a little restaurant for some drinks and then you take her out to dance. So you already have your day set up. The logistics are planned out, and now the next time that you go to the run club, next time that you go to the gym, you meet another girl. You can always take her on that date if you want to. You already have the system in place. More motivation, you feel alive, driven, and excited about life, more exposure, more women, more people, more opportunities. So it becomes a cycle, right? Because now that you have more exposure, you know more people at those venues, at those events, it's gonna want to make you to go out more again, approach more, take more risks. That's gonna lead to more dates, more social interaction. So it becomes this success cycle and this is where we want to land. A lot of guys don't get into this success cycle because of their poor environment. They don't go out as much. They don't approach. They don't take those risks. Nothing's walkable distance. They don't have cool gyms, cool events, cool things around them. So they never even get into the success cycle. So once the success cycle starts to take a hold, it starts to gain that momentum. It makes it a lot easier to just increase your overall lifestyle. Better environment, better you, better life. And when it comes to choosing an actual environment, you want to choose the environment that aligns with you, right? So we're all different. I have some friends, some guys that I work with that like the country traditional guy. They like the country scene, right? They like the country music. I like country too, especially when I was living back in Texas. But they really like that environment. They really like that lifestyle. If that's you, some cities that you can check out would be like Nashville, Tennessee, back in the States, back in Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas. I would say Houston also has some pretty good spots for country, like the Houston Livestock Rodeo, Louisiana, maybe New Orleans for Mardi Gras. That would be cool. Florida for sure. Gotta check out Florida. Florida is always a good time. I think Orlando is one of my favorite cities. Why? Because great for country music, traditional values, strong social scenes. The second archetype could be the city ambitious guy. And a good point here, guys, is that you have to figure out your archetype. You got to figure out what kind of guy you are, right? Like what you're drawn to, what your interests are. A lot of guys that I work with, a lot of times they don't even know their archetype. They don't really know what they value, what they like. And if you don't know that, it's gonna make it more difficult to really identify the best environment for you. So, but once you do know and you already have a better idea, you can start to decide on where you want to be, where you want to spend more of your time at. So the city ambitious guy, best cities for him would probably be like Miami, Florida, New York, New York City, Chicago. I have really good friends. Shout out to my boy Zach. He's in Chicago and he loves it. He says that Chicago in the summertime is probably one of the best places to be. And I agree with him. I think it's a great city. It's a great city for networking as well. But it's also fun and there's always things to do. So these type of cities are usually fast paced, high status opportunities, diverse and driven people. The Latin culture guy, I would say that I fall a little bit more into this archetype here. So some of the best places for this archetype would be like Medellin, Colombia, Lima, Peru, Mexico City, Mexico. And I've lived in all three of these cities. And a lot of times these type of cities have amazing culture, beautiful women, exciting nightlife, and a lot of them they're very affordable. They have good spots, everything's walking distance. And yeah, like I would say Medellin is probably one of my favorite cities. A lot of people go for the wrong reasons, but for me, Medellin was like a lot of people thought that I was Colombian. A lot of people thought that I was from Medellin. Even the locals confused me for being from Medellin. So I really enjoyed it. I kind of felt at home there, and I got to really know the city, like the ins and outs of the city, and it became one of my favorite cities for a long time. Then we have the beach lifestyle guy, and a couple of great places for this kind of archetype would be like Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Bali, Indonesia, Phuket, Thailand. I have some good friends that are in Thailand. They love it, training MMA, training Muay Thai. These cities usually have great weather, outdoor lifestyle, endless social and dating opportunities. And the key, gentlemen, is to match the environment to your personality and interests. Visit first, test the energy, surround yourself with people who are ahead of you, upgrade your environment, and you'll notice that it's going to upgrade your overall lifestyle. And one of my favorite quotes is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your environment. So if you're in a crappy environment, you're in a crappy social circle, you don't have good friends to go out with, you're usually going to fall to that level. But whenever you have a good set of people around you, good places to be, good lifestyle, that always just helps with your goals, and it's going to really optimize the strategy to accomplish your goals. So that is why having a powerful environment is very important, guys. I think this is something that once you start to see it, you can't unsee it because, like I said, when I started traveling abroad and I started seeing how different it was, just like living in, for example, Mexico City, like being close to everything, um, being close to like cafes, different restaurants. I would go out, I would set up a date on Wednesday, go out that same day in the evening, and then I would set up another date with that same girl on Saturday at a restaurant that was 5 minutes away from me, get a quick workout in before the date. You just start to have a better system for dating and also for just developing a better social circle as well. And you start to notice how important your environment is. So that is the environment advantage. Gentlemen, I'm going to be dropping a lot more videos just like this, like live videos every week. I am shooting for one long video every single week just to be consistent. I think it's a consistent game at this point. And I'm just going to be dropping one video every week, and I'm probably going to up it with time. But if you liked the video, if you made it this far, make sure to give us a like. Also, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. What's one of your favorite cities that you traveled to, that you lived in? Also, gentlemen, let me mention this couple things. We are shooting for a meetup at the end of this year, probably around like September or October. And I put out a poll on my Instagram and also on YouTube, and a lot of you guys mentioned that you wanted to go to maybe to Colombia, Mexico, or Peru. So we're trying to finalize where's going to be the best spot to go to. I'm kind of leaning towards Colombia or Mexico because it's closer to the States. So a lot of the guys that are in the States, they can come out cheaper. I think Colombia is probably the best bet because it's cheaper, it's fun, and I know it very well. So we're aiming to do a meetup in Colombia, probably between Cartagena or Medellin, and also just keep your eyes out on for that. We'll probably be talking a lot more about that in the next upcoming videos, next coming episodes. And also, I am doing one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in working one-on-one, you can just follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I can send you the details. We can work together, polish up your image, polish up your dating life, also your environment while you're traveling. I can really get you in the right direction. So if you're interested in working one-on-one, I am doing that right now. Shoot me a DM, and I'm more than happy to work with you. And as always, guys, stay fresh and stay confident. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.